everyone. Welcome back to my project life. This is week 10. So this is in March. I am so far behind with my project life pages. It's not even funny, but that's okay. I am at least caught up with my photos. So I have photos in all of my pockets for most months. I just put a persnickety prints order in, so I should be filling those rest of the pockets for the rest of the months here shortly. But at least those are done. So that's kind of half the battle. I really hate printing photos and figuring out what sizes and things like that. So that is one of the things I hate the most, and at least I am caught up with that. So hopefully I can catch up with Project Life here, but it has been a crazy summer. I actually have been interviewing for a new job, and I just got that job, so I started yesterday with that job. My daughter has started third grade today. We've gone on vacation, and it's just been a really, really busy summer. My previous work was just astronomically crazy. So it's just been a lot of stress and work and different things like that. So I apologize for being so far behind, more to myself probably than to you guys, because at least you're seeing these videos. But then I am definitely behind, but that is okay. I will either catch up or I will move on. It is all good. So enough about that. Let's talk about the layout. So on the previous cards, I just did a little bit of embellishing, nothing too fancy. Just added some paper clips and some little cabochons and things like that to some of the cards. This one, I added a little word with some mini alphas that said school. And I had this really kind of crazy gap here on the left side. So I thought, I'll just add a little bit of doodle. So I just did this little swirly madoodly thing and add a couple dots and call it done. So now I'm going to be moving on to this. I'm just going to put a cluster of embellishments here, a tag, a little die cut, some labels, and that little vellum circle that I have there. And I'm just going to kind of glue it all together, add a little bit of outlining on that tag, and then call this card done. I didn't feel like it needed a whole lot. I did pop up this camera, but pretty much this card is going to look just like that, just adding it back onto the background there and then calling it done once I do the outlining. I don't even think I actually add any twine in the card or the tag, and I normally add twine, but I thought, I don't even know if I had twine this day that I was doing it, but either way, I'm just going to add a little bit more here, and then this card is going to be done. Oh, I forgot, I do add one of these little cabochons. This is from a pack that I got at Michael's quite some time ago. It was like their vintage collection that they had. This card or picture, I'm just going to add some journaling on here. That's all I'm going to do with this particular one, and I just glue that down with, I think, my dot runner this time. This ampersand I am going to trim out. I'm just going to fussy cut it a bit quickly. By the magic of TV, it is done. I'm going to add some journaling to the top, add a little bit more embellishing by the cabochon, by the ampersand. And then this card is going to be done as well. This one, I am trying to figure out what I want to write here in the top. So my daughter was in a play called Princess and the Pea. So I am adding the princess in the font. I'm adding and the in my handwriting, and P I will add in the mini alphas as well, and I like how that ends up turning out. So that's really nice. If you don't want to use up a lot of your alphas, you can kind of combine either multiple alphas together or combine your handwriting and alphas to kind of stretch your alphabets and just to give it a little extra something. Sometimes if it's just all the alphabet stickers, it kind of looks a little bit boring, so I do like to mix it up a bit by adding a bit of handwritten journaling or by mixing up the font. It just gives a little extra something to the titles and things like that that you add to your cards and such. So I think I am going to add some kind of embellishment down there by the ampersand. I think it's a cabochon. Oh, no, I'm actually just going to do a bit more journaling. So I'm basically just adding in a little bit more information about the play here on the bottom, just with some handwritten journaling using this, I think it's a Micron pen. I don't remember. It's a Millennium, no, maybe it's a Millennium pen or something. It's been in my stash a while. It was actually working pretty well. It's a bit thinner than I normally like. I like a bit broader tip. But it ended up working for this because I did need to squeeze quite a bit on this particular card, and a bolder tip probably would have made me or required me to make the words a bit bigger and longer. So this works out perfect for this layout. So that card is done. Now I'm moving on to another, I think it's a 4x4 photo, and I am going to add that here to this card. And then I also add a bit of what is it? I think I add alpha stickers. Now I can't remember what I did with this card. Oh yes, I added this captured one that I fussy cut out, and then I'm going to add a little chipboard yellow kind of flower because I thought it went well. This is the first spuds on one of my lilac trees that I have in the front yard, so I thought that little yellow flower was a good thing to add to this because it symbolizes the first days of spring, which is one of my favorite seasons, and that's probably because it means summer is right around the corner. And I love summer. I hate winter. I hate being cold. I like being just outside without a coat or jacket or anything like that on. And I love when spring comes around because it's just telling me that it's almost here. So I'm going to add just a little bit more to this card by popping it up a bit, just giving it more dimension so that it sits on this wood veneer flower okay. And then I also added a bit of journaling there in the bottom left hand corner. And I don't know if I mentioned this, or I know I mentioned it, but I'm not sure if I mentioned it recently, but I am doing all of my journaling with a typewriter font that's on my computer. It's called Vintage Typewriter. I think I got it from dafont.com. And I'm doing that throughout the layouts because I wanted some consistency in this album this year. And I wanted to make the title cards in that very simple so that I don't have to think too much. Title cards are probably my least favorite cards to make, and I don't know why. I think that's probably some of people's most favorite cards to make, but for some reason I always get stumped on those title cards. So I wanted to keep them pretty simple this year, and what I'm doing is I'm typing out the week and the date range for the title card and kind of adding just a bit of embellishment. Some cards are a little bit more embellished than others, but mostly I'm keeping it pretty simple, and then they look consistent throughout the pages, even though my pages have different cardstock and different things like that on each one. It just has a little level of consistency. So that one just got some journaling and a little die cut star. And then this one, I'm trying to make a full 4x6. So I'm trimming it down a bit, and then I'm going to be gluing the photo on top of that card so that it makes a 4x6 in the end. So I'm just adding a little adhesive on the edge and then making that 4x6 to make sure it fits all nice. And then I'm going to add a little bit more here, some journaling and a butterfly, and also some handwritten journaling and some typewritten journaling, and the butterfly. I had that gap at the bottom and I feel like I needed something, so I thought I would add a bit more handwritten journaling there in that bottom space of that card. So I'm just going to glue this down with my tape runner and some of my liquid glue for the strips because it just seems to work a bit better than the tape runner at times. And I like to use my tweezers because my fingers are a bit fat and don't hold the little strips very well. So the tweezers are kind of like my fingers. Adding that little cabochon, and then you'll see me here doing the handwritten journaling in just a second. Now I'm just doing journaling on this card, so it's just the strips. So you saw me after I glued those all down. I'm going to add the final curtain at the top of this card using, again, my handwriting and then also some of those red mini market stickers again. So you'll see me do that here in a second. And I'm just going to squeeze that little heart, or not heart, I'm sorry, the star here over right on the kind of blank space on the left-hand side. And it just kind of tucks between that little girl's head there perfectly. So, and then also curtain fits in perfectly between the star and the right-hand edge of that card. So it was very, very nice that it all came together so well. So there I go. It just kind of squeezes in there really nice. And then I'm going to do final curtain in that handwriting. And that card is complete. So I'm going to work on this one. It's just going to be a label and another one of those vellum circle tags. I'm just going to glue that down together, and I want to cover up the little hole because I didn't want that showing. I just really wanted the tag to be there as a layering piece. And I'm just using my dot runner glue, and then I'll add this little button, or it's kind of like an epoxy kind of thing, and then some journaling to the bottom of this card as well. And then I think this card's done. I don't really believe I do anything else with this one. Adding some liquid glue. I find that depending on what kind of embellishment I'm using, I'll use a different kind of glue. And sometimes I don't really have a very good rhyme or reason. Sometimes it's just whatever's closest and we'll stick down the item is what I use. So here's a picture of some popcorn. Every Friday at my previous job, they would pop popcorn. So it was an awesome Friday treat. I think I definitely need to start that at my new job if they allow that, because what's more fun than having a fun popcorn Friday? So I'm just going to journal on there to document that. And then I'm also going to add that star paper clip. And then that card, I believe, is going to be done. If I can get that star paper clip on there. And now I am going to embellish this with, I believe, just some journaling. I think that's what I do on this, and I keep it real simple. I don't put embellishments on all of my pictures, and sometimes I don't even put journaling on it. It just kind of depends on what the topic is and how much I need to say and how much space I have for journaling in other places. So here I am taking that Be Grateful die cut piece there, and I think I fussy cut that out from a printable, or maybe a Project Life card from Scraptastic. I can't remember off the top of my head now, but I believe it was fussy cut. I don't think it came in a pack, but I could be wrong. And then I just added some journaling. So this card I kind of struggled with. I needed to make this a full 4x6, and I wanted to use this XO card. But I had some problems with getting the XO to fit, and I ultimately end up chopping off probably more than I really wanted to. But in order for it to get and stay, I kind of had to. I had no choice. So I'm going to keep trimming this and keep trimming this and keep trimming this until it gets to the point where it all fits. But like I said, it's just not fitting as well as I would like it to. But, you know, sometimes that happens. But I still like how it looks. It's just not, it just doesn't fit on the page quite as much as I'd like. But, you know, that's how things work sometimes. And that's a picture of my great niece. She was only, I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks old at that point. I don't think she was very old at all. She was born in February and this was March, so she must have been only about 2 or 3 weeks in this picture. So I'm going to add a bit of journaling so I can document the fact that this is the first time I got to see her little cute chubby cheeks. And then I'll add this heart die cut piece here, and then that card is done. And oh, and the cabochon. And that's pretty much it for my layout. The close-ups are here. If you have any questions, make sure you leave those below. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you like the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up to let YouTube know you're enjoying my videos. And until next time, I will talk to you again. Bye.